Greetings, Donald here. I already know what you're thinking. What kind of old bastard charges his kids $12.50 to redo their resumes? Well, my kids can probably afford it. I can use a few extra bucks. And besides, my kids are my retirement plan. So I want to train them early to start supporting me. Actually, I'm very proud of my kids. I want them to succeed at everything they do. And the fastest, the surest way to succeed at anything you do is to hire expert coaching. And I want my kids to invest in themselves just like I do. I want them to hire coaches to show them the shortcuts, show them the ropes. And I don't want them wandering around lost, wondering what to do like this guy, this poor schlep. And I don't want them crawling on their hands and knees, begging some highly paid expert, begging that person for a few tidbits or a few minutes of time. No, I want my kids hiring experts, standing tall. And by the way, $18.50 is my usual fee. So I gave my kids a nice $600 hardship discount. And when it comes to coaching, I want you to know that I practice what I preach. I take the same medicine that I prescribe. For example, in addition to resumes, I write B2B advertising copy for electronics companies in Asia. It's a competitive market, so I'm always taking classes to improve myself. A few years ago, I spent $5,000 for a copywriting class taught by the world's greatest copywriting guru of all time. But the class didn't really help me. For the class, I produced something that a client seemed to really like, and then the client just dropped off the radar. After that client disappeared, I tried to get some feedback from the great guru, but he wouldn't answer my messages either. That sounds just like your typical interaction with the recruiters, doesn't it? They act interested and then they drop you with no feedback, right? Anyway, I really wanted to close the loop on that writing project. So I took a chance and hired a copywriting coach to critique my work. I paid the coach $1,500 for a half hour of advice. Ow! That sounds crazy, right? He explained my problem and his advice transformed everything I write. Voila! Here's my point. Paying a writing coach $1,500 for a half-hour consultation takes a big leap of faith on my part. But one-on-one coaching has always worked for me. And by the way, the guy's name was David Garfinkel. I'm happy to give him a little plug here. If you know you're overdue to advance to the next level of your career and you're stuck, hire a coach. Ideally, that would be me. And if I'm not available, maybe somebody like me. I hire coaches in all areas of my life. For example, fitness in the gym, golf coach, that was years ago, boxing, really old, flying, swing dancing, public speaking, you name it. I've hired too many coaches to remember, and I'll bet you hire them too. If you possess the right raw material, I will add tens of thousands of dollars to your next offer. I'm not kidding. What is the right raw material? Mostly that means great results for your previous employers. If I coach you, you will see your career as something 10 times bigger than you realized. Your confidence during interviews will soar. I see this happen all the time. And in addition to the money, sometimes I can expand a person's self-image. For example, my all-time favorite headline for a client, Chief Investment Advisor to one of the world's richest men. Who knew? That headline strengthened his self-image and scaled up his confidence. Here's an actual example. You may have seen this on one of my other videos. Here's the original. This executive buried a great story. His resume makes him look like a lowly facilities manager. All wrong. His new resume tells a completely different story. He turned around a disaster. Computer system had completely crashed. 2 prior attempts to fix this disaster had failed. Manufacturing plant was hemorrhaging over $1 million a day. He fixed it, and it was just buried on his original resume. That story. So to tell a great success story and to write a great resume, the secret is not the writing. The secret to a great resume is an in-depth career interview, and you cannot do that by yourself. Like the cartoon says, you need help from the outside. People lock up their best material inside their head. Here's another bad example. A Harvard MBA with a resume that looks like a botched homework assignment from high school. He worked for one company for about 10 years, and now he's out in the job market. His resume makes him look like a fool, and he doesn't even know it, doesn't believe it. He probably invested $200,000 in an MBA at Harvard, tuition, time away, living expenses. He blames his age for everything, but he goes around begging for free advice, and he won't invest in himself. What stops people from investing in themselves? Sometimes people feel guilty about spending any money on themselves. Sometimes it's just the old cliche, a person, usually a guy, who is too self-conscious to ask for direction. Here are some final points. I cannot help everybody, but I can help you if you possess business or technical talent, and especially if you've got mediocre or bad packaging. If you've got a big career or a potentially big career, call me ASAP. Stop sitting at home in your underwear, rewriting your resume for the umpteenth time, pushing the same words around the page, and getting nowhere. Let's get moving again. I gotta go. Meanwhile, I wish you the very best of good luck in your search.